Oh, we live?
Now
We
we are.
live. We
Now we're
live.
live. Yeah.
Shout out, shout out.
So I mean, this was gonna happen at some point.
Yeah.
Like it was gonna come to this eventually, like when we're gonna come together and then we're gonna chat about Aubrey.
Oh
Like
Lord.
it was bound to happen, but some
Aubrey
things
and the shenanigans.
exactly. So with today's episode of the Consumer Group Chat, I think everybody knows what we're going to be talking about. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Consumer Group Chat. Just a small panel with small creators that are trying to do big things. You know what I'm saying?
Hell
So,
yeah.
with me today, to my right, we got a rapper, a legend in the game. Somebody
Oh
from
shit.
Canada really out here moving and getting things
Legend
done.
is crazy, but keep
Hey,
going.
bro, you don't want to be a legend? No, you don't want to be a legend? Ladies and
Legend.
gentlemen, we got NK in the building.
What
Legend
up?
in the making. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Legend
There
in the
you go.
making.
Respects,
You know,
respect.
you
No,
know,
thank you, Flex.
nah,
Thank
bro.
you,
I'm
Flex.
trying
Shout
to,
out,
I'm
yo.
trying to give you your future. Like,
No, I appreciate it. I'm just being annoying. But
nah,
nah, shout
nah,
out,
that's all
man.
good.
Shout out, man. Respect.
And
There you go.
under me, even though you should be like over here,
Pause. Pause. Pause.
we got one of
Pause.
the illest in the game, bro. One of the illest reactors out here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a scholar in here.
Nah.
Okay,
No sir.
we got J Tom reactions in this motherfucker.
Was
Whoop, whoop,
good.
whoop.
Let's go. Let's go.
Outside on the patio, chilling,
Hell yeah.
taking in a nice breeze.
Felt like I needed to go touch grass after all the shenanigans that Aubrey does, you know?
Fair, fair.
Yeah, if you gotta touch grass, that's how you know it's serious.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dog.
So, I mean, at this point, this is where we get started with like initial reactions, album review, what we think, how we feel when it comes to the Iceman project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
NK, I'll let you go first.
So listen, dog. All right. So for off rip, bro. Off rip. Like the fact he dropped 3 albums, bro. That in and of itself,
Yo,
that in and of itself shows the level of desperation that was
okay.
necessary. That was like apparent and like
Right.
already existed, as we all know. Because to drop 3 albums, and he's already a pop artist, right? He's already super popular. So no matter what, his album is going to get traction in some capacity, right? Regardless of the reviews and critics, it's going to get people will play the album, is what I'm saying, right? So the fact he dropped 3 lets you know that he's creatively bankrupt. Like creatively, it's over. Like it's done because people like him and like pop artists like him basically like and this is bad for hip hop because it's like basically what people like him do is they treat making music like it's a factory. You know what I mean? So that's why the quality of the music has gone down so significantly over the years is because these labels treat music like a product, right? It's just a product. This is just something you make to make more money. So the fact they dropped 3 lets you know this is the Walmart of music. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? This is Walmart, right? You go into Walmart, they mass produce a lot of things and then they sell it for cheaper than other places on the market. I mean, it's not even as cheap as it used to be, but it's cheap. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
Right.
that in and of itself let me know, okay, this is gonna be bad. You know what I mean? But even so, I tried my best, bro. I tried my best to listen to it just as a music fan, a fan of music, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, the beef, everything we already know it's there. So I tried my best to be like, okay, let me try objectively as best as possible to just listen to this, even though I'm mad that there's 3 fucking albums, right? I'm already mad because I'm like, okay, like, so you're already telling me you're just throwing shit at the wall at this point, right?
Right.
Mhm.
You're just gonna see what's gonna stick. It's desperate. So so I tried listening. So the first one I listened to was Iceman, obviously. It's the only one that really matters if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So I try listening to Iceman, and I'm just like, bruh, like I'm just like I'm just like all these like this was all that for this that whole lead up to it, the whole promo campaign, the stupid ice block that he put in the middle of Toronto, all of that was for this. You know what I mean? I was listening to it with some friends too, and they're not even like big, like as big into hip hop. Like they listen to some hip hop, but they're not as big into it. And same with they were like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is this? Because it's like it's first of all, it's just lazy. Like even the way he just sounds vocally. Because I'm here. I'm gonna even focus on the music significantly, right? There's all the again shenanigans happening outside of it, but even if we ignore that and just look at the music, it wasn't good, bro. Like it
Right.
wasn't good. It was uninspired, lazy. You can hear it in his voice, you can hear it in the beat selection, you can hear it in the unnecessary beat changes. Like, bro, like why is the song 2 minutes and the and the
He
beats
has
changing
three
like this?
three
There's
beats.
three beat switches. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
unnecessary. Like you're now you've watered down beat switches so much that I don't even want to hear the beat switches no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like this is lazy. It sounded like everything he's already been doing the past decade. And that's why I always tell people that I stopped listening to Drake after Views. The day I heard Views, I was like, I don't like Drake. I mean, I already didn't like him. But at least he had some hits. You know what I mean? Like I liked Nothing Was the Same. I liked some tracks on there. I liked Take Care, some tracks on there. But I never liked him as a person. But even as a music listener, it was Views for me where I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Anyways, I'm gonna say that
Mm.
for now. So we let y'all talk. But like, bruh, like that's my introductionary paragraph right there. Or introductory paragraph.
All right, J Tom, what you
Yeah.
got?
What more can I say?
I'm trying to keep my composure right now. It's not working. Like,
Okay. Okay. So my subscribers, let's just say that, forced me into listening to this project. I made the mistake of saying, you know what, 100 likes will make me go and listen to the project. I will give a brutally honest review, and then boom, they, they decided to go ahead and give me 100 likes. Worst. That's the worst 18 songs of my life that I had to sit through. That was the worst thing that I ever went through. Let's just say that. Um, the the song selections that he could have done for Iceman could have been selected better. Um, I think that creatively, like MK said, creatively he could have done a lot better with that. He could have hired better ghostwriters because we all know allegedly what it is that he does. Better ghostwriters. He could have gotten them, but he didn't. Um, I'm just saying, like it's. I think that he could have done a better job than give me one good song, which was the first song. The I would say the other two songs that I liked, I even forgot their names because they were totally forgettable. Forgettable. Let's just say 1 out of 18 is a horrible ratio.
yeah.
That's all I have to say. 1 out of 18. So that means 17 skips. That's horrible. And the reason why it was so many skips to me was the main reason was because he's suing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, all these disses that you decided to throw out, all these people that you named, all these subs that you threw out means nothing because you have that hanging over your head. That's all I have to say. Worst hour of my life.
All right. Well,
What are we doing, Flex?
we're talking. So shoot, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and talk at this point. Um. See, here's the thing with Iceman because it's one thing to take in the project and then give your honest review.
Mm.
It's also another thing when you live here and then you got to talk to people about this project and lie in their face and say that the project's good because it's not. First of all, let's just get this out the way. Um, why 3 albums knowing that you're still with UMG? Because if you are not with UMG, you will be flaunting that around as if you a brand new bad bitch. So you're still locked in with your daddy. All right. So I'm just trying to figure out why Maid of Honor was necessary and why Habiti was necessary. Because the main focus was literally Iceman. Like you see it in all the music videos that he drops. Every song had a music video. This is clearly the main focus. Why do we have these two on the side, but they're really not because it's a package? And it's not even like everything's together on one album. It's like separate album. Like what was the goal? Because it's one thing when I said this was a marketing nightmare back when we were still looking at the rollout that was going on for the past 2 years. It's another thing when you have 3 albums that have zero correlation, zero storytelling, and it's just like different groups of genres on different albums as if this was your goal the whole time. I feel bad for anybody on his team when they were putting this together. One thing though for Iceman is that the production was good. The production is good for sure. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for opening up my eyes because whoever put together that the Iceman project with Kendrick all over it, that made me like the production on Iceman even more. Even though I already had an appreciation for the production on there, right? But going through the project, now you're hearing him like on every song, mind you, somebody's getting dissed. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like,
The
why?
fuck?
Like what like are you like you're it's not even that it's not even a question anymore as if it's like are you hurt? You are in pain. You couldn't sleep at night. You were tossing and turning like you had nightmares. Waking up in cold sweats with little pee pee stains. Like I'm just trying to understand why like you felt like dissing people on every project because I talked about it on my video that I dropped earlier today when it comes down to why Iceman didn't work. And this is through my eyes. And the relatability is gone. You are the artist that everybody could relate to, and they cannot relate to you on this project.
Hey, yo, Hammer wants to come in.
Oh, he's locked in?
Yeah, he's locked in.
Okay. Okay. With the shades on was good. Let me just finish my point real quick and then we're gonna get to you, all right? But I don't like the fact that your catalog is going to suffer because of this poor project or projects, I should say.
Mhm.
Because the other 2 projects, I don't even think they touched the Billboard charts. And
Nah,
then Iceman, yeah, you got your number one because you forced it, pretty much like what NK was talking about when he dropped the 3 project. It's like you're forcing to get that so
Mhm.
you can run around and talk about how you beat Mike Jack. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
that's tacky. That's
Mhm.
tasteless. That's disappointing. because you're the artist that you would never do that. But the fact that you're forcing it is just like, I don't look at you the same no more. Like, I have more disappointment because, first of all, you represent Toronto, represent where I'm from, and now you're making us look like some psychos. I'm not a fan, but that's pretty much like the opening to what I gotta say. King Hammer, what you got? First of all, what's good? How you feeling? Hope you're having a good day, bro.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm guessing the topic is the
Iceman.
first reception of Iceman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ice
Yeah.
Agent.
All right. Initially, I'm not impressed because he has the potential to do more. And we all know that by his previous catalog. Am I wrong?
Absolutely.
So I have to sit here and say that it was lackluster, it was forced, it was pushed, and it was, I want to say, definitely botted in order to try and surpass the initial Michael Jackson record. We get it, but it lacked impact. The impact is what is most important when it comes down to music, because at the end of the day, did it actually hit you? Do you resonate with it? Do you understand what this artist was trying to say through that song or through
Hell
these
no.
sets? And honestly, Iceman, Habibti, and what was the other one?
Maid of honor.
Mama was a saint. Yeah, whatever. No, none of that shit landed because none of it was genuine. None of that shit was from the heart. None of that came from a place of substance because he was just trying to, of course, get out of his deal and go independent and all that. That's great and all that, but I agree with Kendrick's recent point of not making mid music in order to get out of a deal because no matter what, your PR will always go down if you're just forcing something instead of actually being something.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day,
Mm.
at the end of the day, um, I would rather have listened to a throwaway Nas mixtape than Iceman any
Facts.
day.
At the end of the day, it proves that it's always quality over quantity,
Thank you.
and the quality wasn't there with Iceman. I mean, the production was quality, but that's the only thing that it was, just the quality production. Where was the quality storytelling, the quality? Even the dance music had no quality.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot about you as an artist, and about the ghostwriters you're hiring allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah. No,
think
I strongly agree with
that
that.
at the end of the day, this dude Drake is so washed up and so drained of actual creativity because look at how long of a run he's had. I get it. Dude has been going through the last 15, 16 years of just producing probably some of the greatest hits that pop and hip hop has ever known, or at least in the longest of runs. However, he cannot have all these claims of greatness without proving it correctly. And when it comes down to the hip hop scene, hip hop is the spirit of the Negro experience. And for him not being able to connect or, I want to say, appreciate the roots of where it came from, it's hard for us to sit there and give him that validation. It's hard for us to sit there and appreciate what he's saying because he does not know what it's like to be where we are at any time, at any place. Like Drake doesn't have to worry about keeping his hands in plain sight while in his vehicle parked after getting pulled over. Drake don't know what it's like
Mm.
to take your kids out
Facts.
while you got, let's say, expired fucking registration or this, that, and the third because you're making ends meet at home.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? My biggest thing is that he doesn't know the real problems that we face as African Americans in order to actually connect with us on a musical plane. At the club, yeah, sure, because you're using us in order to have that kind of plane in the first place. Then you also are using our image in order to appeal to us so that we can at least listen to your stuff. Dude is a fraud at the end of the day. He has always been a chameleon and
Yep.
he's never understood what it means to actually be what he's rapping about because he's never had to actually deal with it in reality.
Mm.
Right.
And the music, we can tell that it's disingenuous because we all know that that ain't him. Nigga, you from Degrassi. Shut up. Like, go somewhere. Like, go
That's
Yeah.
somewhere with that
that
shit
shit'll
talking about
never get
something.
old.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like I say all the time, and y'all can say it with me, if your character is compromised, so too is your music.
Right.
Mm.
I'm over here
Facts.
Right.
distracted by these two girls at the game. But
I'm dead.
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you can't sit here and tell me Drake knows what he's talking about, or at least it sounds good, or this, that, and the third. There's people that were on Marcus at Work Media earlier that are saying, why aren't we streaming Drake as much? We need to up the streams. That right there tells you alone that this dude depends on his fans in order to just inflate his streams and not
Mm-hmm.
actually appreciate his music. And that says a lot. His
Right.
music suffers
Right.
because his character got exposed. His character
Yes,
got
sir.
exposed, and his shit is in the toilet waiting to be flushed. And the only people that need to flush it is the goddamn consumers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to get rid of him because they appeal to his identity. They don't even have an identity because they get it through him.
It's a fact. Yo.
So, so for all you Drake fans and all that, y'all are not fans of hip hop. Y'all are fans of Drake because you don't know who
Mm-hmm.
you are just as much as he don't. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying to hear none of y'all's opinions no more. And when I come back on YouTube, I promise you, I'm talking shit straight to you. I'm out this bitch.
Hey, drop the mic, boy.
Shout out, bro.
Mic
Oh
drop.
shit.
Nah, because
Listen, bro.
dude, all these Drake fans are sitting here coping for this man, and they're sitting there caping for this man because they find their identity within him. Meanwhile, he is an identity-less person. He has
Mm.
no identity because he don't know where to get it from. He don't know
Right.
Mm-hmm.
how to have his own identity. He doesn't know how to speak his own words. Only
Right.
everybody else's, and then
Mm-hmm.
formulate his character around it. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that in hip hop. You be you. You be you and you be great. You be great with being
Facts.
you. You be proud of being you at the end of the day. And Drake,
Right.
he has disappointed a lot of hip hop fans because we held him at a good regard because he had his own lane. It wasn't until he got outside of that lane that when he started losing respect and getting pointed out for ghostwriters, getting pointed out for being deadbeats. We changing all that in minorities. As much as the white folks like to hate it, and I'm sorry to call y'all out like this, but I'm going to. As much as the white folks like to hate it, y'all are more the deadbeats than black or Mexican or other minorities as fathers. Y'all need to do better. Get your white women in line too. Get that shit in line
Yo,
because y'all are only insecure because we doing it better and we making it look good. Fuck out of here.
tight.
Hey.
Yo, I was the one thing I was gonna say was to kind of like it that was connected to one point that King just made was around like the way Drake treats hip hop, right? I think that's a very important subject matter because the I honestly, in my honest opinion, I think the way Drake treats hip hop is the same way that white people treat food from other cultures. You know, it's
Mm.
like it's something for you to like just dabble into whenever you want to,
Taco
whenever you
Tuesday.
whenever you feel like it, whenever and you don't even have to like the people. You could even be hella racist, but you're like, oh, but I love tacos, and oh, I love biryani, or whatever it is, right? Like, to them, it's just something to exploit and enjoy for one's consumption. It's not like
Right.
a culture. It's not like they don't really understand, like,
Hey, real quick,
you
real
know.
quick, real quick,
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Make oxtail cheap again. Continue.
Yo, I'm still mad at
Dog,
Yo,
the
I just
ox.
and you
had some
know, and you know what
oxtail
it
the other
is,
day. Oh, Lord.
man. You know what it is.
Bro.
I think it has a lot to do with Drake only studying the stereotypes and getting
Mm,
getting the stereotype and presenting himself as those stereotypes. Because if you guys pay attention, when he was on that song with Bad Bunny, what was he doing in the music video? What was he doing in the song as well? What, like, every time that he's on a song with people from Atlanta,
That's what he's
he
doing.
does he does the same shit. He gets the stereotypes from Atlanta, and that's what he does. He's an actor posing as what he thinks are a representation of the place that he's trying to copy. So he grabs the stereotypes and he that's what he does.
mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, some people like myself and King Hammer point this shit out, and like, it's unfortunately for him, he's gonna have to come up with something else to get his music out there and actually do something for the culture,
Mm-hmm.
because he's not doing that shit,
But
and
here's the
he
thing:
hasn't done that shit.
someone like Drake, if let's say this criticism became more widespread, right? If he was to hear what you just said, in his
Right,
mind, he would what how he would interpret that would be, oh, I need to just drop more money around. I just need to throw more money around. That's in
right,
his conception. That's helping the culture. Is just, oh, well, I gave this artist money when they needed this, or I did whatever to, like, kind of spread my wealth. To him, that's it in terms of, like, the culture. He doesn't understand that, like, it starts with the music. It really starts with
it
what you're
does.
producing. It starts with the art form. So if that's disconnected, it doesn't really matter what else you do, right? Especially when you're moving a certain way outside of the music in addition to that, right? Because he's moving horribly, right? Before the
Right,
beef, during the beef, after the beef, we've seen it all. So because of that, I think that really shows his character, which shows up in the art, and how disingenuous the art is. Also, someone in the comment section said, couch potatoes. He said they only care about the numbers. They don't interact with the music organically, though. And that's a
Hmm.
fact,
that is a
because
fact.
a lot of people who were defending Drake, you see it, right, in the Instagram comments, in the Facebook comments, whatever it is, people saying shit like, oh, but this album of his sold more than this person, or this album sold more. We're talking about art right now, bro. Like, this is we're not talking. I'm not an executive at fucking UMG or Atlantic Records or whatever the fuck records. I am a human being that
Right,
enjoys art, right?
exactly.
So if I enjoy art, I want that art to be good, meaningful, etc., etc., etc. If you're not providing that, I will not listen to you. Simple. I
But
will not like what you're doing and what you're about. Sorry, go ahead.
the biggest problem with that is the consumers themselves, because they've been
That's what I'm saying.
conditioned
Yes.
to like mediocre music, and that's
I
not
wouldn't
good.
e- Conditioned, and to add to the word conditioned, I would say trained. They've been
Yeah.
Yeah,
trained since we were very young. They've trained enough people to not actually understand art, to not actually interact with art in a meaningful way. It's just like a throwaway thing. It's something that you use, just to, like, feel good. And there's nothing wrong with feeling good from music, right? We all listen to music to help make us feel good, but sometimes music has to challenge you. Sometimes music
Mhm.
has to take that extra step towards, like, revealing something about the world that you never thought of, or that you never thought of in that kind of way. Like, that's the depth that we need, especially in these fucking times right now in the world.
right,
So, right? So, because so if your art lacks that in this moment, what does that say about you? Right? Like even when he brought up the whole Palestine shit with DJ Khaled, right? Even when he brought that up, it's like, do you give a fuck about? You don't give a fuck about Palestine, my nigga. You're just bringing it up to be like, oh well,
Yeah.
this nigga, you know, because he went against me, or it's like that's it. To you, it's just a chip that you just throw out there to benefit yourself, but you're never actually doing it for the thing itself. If you give a fuck about Palestine, then why don't you make a song about it? Instead,
Mhm.
you threw out a little cheap line so you can get people to be like, oh, he called out DJ. Like, this nigga doesn't care about that. If he cared about that, he wouldn't make all these albums, basically calling people broke and poor. You know what I mean?
He,
Like,
okay,
Yeah.
see,
like,
okay, nah, see, now we okay. Listen, let me tell you something. He he's not getting a lot of money either. I'm not saying
Nah.
he's broke, but where people are assuming that he's a $1 billion artist.
No,
Where?
he's not. No, he's not.
Where? Bro, go Google it. It's 400 M's. It went up. like, congratulations, but he's not a $1 billion artist. There's no deal.
No, he had to pay that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top
And
of
then
that, like it's like that was his receipt. Like,
right. Yeah.
here's the thing though. With the projects that drop, because it's not just Iceman. You got
Right.
Iceman, Made of Honor, Habiti. Cool. You dropped 3 projects. You sold like what, over 600 plus units through the 3. Fine, cool. Mind you, those are not good numbers through his standards. That's
No.
poor. That's poor through his standards. For Iceman to have like sell 400 plus, cool. That's not good enough. Let's not forget your physical units that were sold. You only had 13,000. And then the rest of it was through streams. Sir, I got a question for you. Knowing how much a stream costs or how much you get from a stream, do you really think you should be only streaming right now? Don't you think you should start selling some merch? What happened to your Iceman merch that you had on Amazon? Did you stop that? Why didn't you include that into your rollout since you want
Yeah.
it on Amazon so bad? Like, what was your goal? Like, were you trying to clear out like a warehouse? Like, I'm just trying to understand the tactics because they're not adding up. Same with the money is not adding up to you being a $1 billion artist. What's your $2 billion deal or your $8 million deal based on Maul's like mouth? Like, it makes no zero sense. And then on top of that, think about it. His best albums was Views and Scorpion. And it took you 3 albums to not even cross that line. Why would you have a contract saying, yo, we're going to give you this many B's and we're going to put it right here on the table? Sir.
And you know what it was?
What?
I can tell you right now.
Go ahead.
The man was trying to get out of his contract, but only how are you going to get out of your contract? And you're basically giving so the money that he's supposedly making off of these albums, he's not actually making that money because that money is staying with UMG. So essentially, he hold on, give me a second, man.
No, you good. No, let's just talk about because like I like doing the math. I ain't
Right.
gonna lie to you. I like doing the math. But you good now?
Yeah.
All right, go
Sorry,
ahead.
it was a plane. So essentially, essentially, the money that he was making stays there at UMG.
Right.
So he just basically paid all that money staying in the studio for I don't know how long, and that those 3 albums are UMG's albums. So when they say that he's free, he is essentially free, but he's starting over.
Mm.
All those albums that he did stay with UMG.
Mm.
He doesn't have his masters. So essentially he's starting from scratch.
Mm.
No. Okay. Let me clean that up a little bit. So
Yeah,
he has so far gone the first
right.
one, like his very first one, but When you look at Thank Me Later, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, Views, um, More Life, and Scorpion, which is
Right.
where all his hits are in that group, bro. That's UMGs.
Yeah.
So from the Scary Hours and Certified Lover Boy, For All the Dogs, um Honestly Nevermind, and Iceman, and the other two, that's yours. That's not good.
Nah.
That's really bad. Like, you should be in crisis mode. If I'm going to be super honest, Spotify said, "Oh, you're the most streamed artist." That's through your old work. Your old work goes to your daddy.
Yeah.
That's not yours.
Nope.
That money's not going to you. It's going to him. That's why he's smiling and high fiving. Like,
Yeah.
what more do you want me to say?
Hmm.
Like, it's just that what sucks is that in Toronto, the illusion is working so well.
Hmm.
Right.
It's working so well. I feel bad for what they're trying to do to that one girl that called into the Breakfast Club. I feel bad, but that's something I've been talking about for a long time. How people move around here. If you cross or go against their greats, they gonna rip you to shreds. Right now, what they're doing, it's like they're sparing her. That's not even the worst that they can do.
Hmm.
Nah.
Right? Like, just think about that for a second. The amount of hackers, the amount of people that are good with like just like tech and hacking and all that. There's a lot of them in Toronto. I'm not trying to like put nobody out there, but yeah, a lot of them are here. Okay, it's just that they're outsourcing to other countries like Nigeria, which is where the bots are coming from. But my point is my point is like the way that you gotta like the way that it's like to be here and walk on eggshells because you really know what's going on. It's really tragic. And to
Yeah.
see the fans buy into the illusion, knowing that there's better music out there, knowing that there's better artists out there, knowing that there's better quality work, better quality projects out there that are dropped, especially throughout this year, but nobody here wants to tap in with it. And that also kind of leads into like how we lack culture and can't understand when the culture's in front of us. Like, that all matters.
Hmm.
And to see to see a whole city just like move around like it's cultureless
Hmm.
is really frightening. I'm not gonna lie,
Hmm.
but
Yo, so the one thing I've been thinking about, right, is like
yeah.
what what should he have done, right? Because and here's my answer to that question. I think there's one of two things he should have done when he was putting this album together, but then also when it was released. So the first thing he should have done conceptually for the album, if he was smart, don't even talk about none of the just make a part, just drop Habibti. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just drop one of those the fun, quote unquote, fun albums, and just do a
Mhm.
whole thing of like banger club songs or some shit. You know what I mean? That's option one. Ignore the beef. Make release whatever thing we're gonna forget about in a year, but you're probably gonna make your money. The label's gonna make their money and be happy, whatever. Right? That's
Oh yeah,
option
I
one.
forgot about that shit.
Option two, option two is if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna talk about this stuff, if right, which is the worst option, but if you're gonna take that risk, make it a concept album.
Mhm.
Make it a concept album of the whole album could have been like, oh, within a 2 week span of like when the beef was happening, what was going on emotionally. And that's all the album is about. It's like each song is a different like feeling or mood or mode he was in. And then the aftermath of that, every song could be touching on one of those points. It's again going over the span of like, I don't know, 10 days or something like that. And then it could be a 10-track album. And that's the other thing, right? The amount of songs he's putting out. is like it's ridiculous. Like you're treating music like it's toilet paper. You know what I mean? Like this, like music should mean something. Music should matter. And basic economics, right? Supply and demand. Supply and demand. If there's that much of a supply, you're now cheapening the product. It's that simple, right? There's a reason why water is cheaper than diamonds, right? Water, we all need water to survive, but more or less you can find water somewhere relatively easily. Diamonds, how much work goes into, how much money and capital has to go into excavating the diamonds, processing the diamonds, transporting the diamonds. That's what makes it more expensive, right? And there's less of it. There's less of it too, right? Water is in abundance. I mean, water, even that's in question now because of like all the shit happening in the world. However, generally speaking, that's how that works. So if you're releasing this much music, you've basically told us you don't even value your own music. You know what I mean? All those songs he put out, he could have cut it down to fucking 10, 11, 12, 14 if we really want to like push it a little bit. And then make that the best music you've ever made in your fucking life. You know what I mean? Like in your fucking life. And we would have felt that if it was real, right?
Right.
Like at the end of the day, we're all fans of hip hop. We're all fans of music. So even if I don't fuck with somebody as a person, I could hear some shit and be like, yeah, that was dope. That was a good song. I might not want to listen to it because of what I think about that person and not believing in their message or whatever. But I can still appreciate, oh, that was a fire beat, or that verse was good. You know what I mean? So I feel like those are the two things he should have done. Either release the album as just a pure party pop album and then make your fucking money or whatever. Or if you're actually going to touch on it, put some fucking depth into it, bro. Like put some depth into it. Like actually sit down and try to grasp and understand what is happening in the world and why that shift happened the way it did. And then once you do that, right, then you can, even if you're going to talk about it, you have to show growth in talking about it, right? You have to show like, yeah, I wasn't right about this part, or I fucked up on that part. Some honesty, you know what I mean? Some actual, like some of the people that were bigging the album up, even the critics, were trying to claim this was a vulnerable album. Like, you're crazy if you think anything on this shows any level of vulnerability. You know what I mean?
Vulnerable where?
Like where's the vulnerability? Oh, my dad had cancer. Boo! Like come on.
And it was Cap.
And it was and he doesn't even have it no more. So like, what are we talking about? Like, it's a waste of time. So it's like, so I'm like, if that's vulnerability to somebody, then we're cooked. You know what I mean? But there's nothing vulnerable on there. Like, he's doing the same shit he always does, bigging himself up.
Right.
Woe is me, you know, type bullshit, crying on every fucking song. Oh, you said this about me, fuck you. Oh, you said that about me, fuck you. It's like, what? Like, that's depth.
Oh, you went to the pop out. Fuck you.
Yeah, basically. Like, you couldn't do nothing with that conceptually. Like, he's that brain dead. Like, damn.
Ovens and kitchens and shit like that.
And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. How are you gonna name an album Maid of Honor? Put your mom on the cover, and the first song is called Whole Phase. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? I don't care. What are we doing?
Right.
Like, what? Nigga.
If I had an applause machine, 1 second applause.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Your mom.
I get that.
Disrespect. Like, what are we? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, what? What? Nobody in this camp was like, yo, that's a bad look. Nobody in the label, nobody said, like, what?
Yo, I feel like we having a praise break, bro. What the
And then the first song is called Whole Fees. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
You know what? He probably looked at that and was like, you know what? I'm gonna put an ironic name as the first.
Man. Like, then don't put your mom on it. Put someone else on it.
Yo,
Like, what are you doing?
shout out to
Because,
GTV,
bro,
bro.
Oh man.
when I seen the cover, I'm thinking, oh, like maybe this is gonna be the introspective one, right? Maybe
Nope.
Iceman is the bravado, Habibti is the club, and then this one is like, he gets deeper or whatever. I look at the track list, I was like, ain't no fucking way. Like, what the fuck are we doing, dog? Ain't no way your mom is on the cover and the first song is
Oh
this.
man.
Like, what?
Bro, it's tragic out here, bro. Damn. Now you got me with that one because I never even
Yeah, you
pieced it
did.
together. When I say like I went through the projects, I listened to what I listened to, and I ended it there because I didn't have any takeaways. What really pissed me off was the first song on the Iceman project. What was it? Make Them Cry?
Yeah.
Aside from like the dad, the cancer, he can't like bro, your dad came out and said you don't even have it no more. So it's like what so
What are you actually talking about?
why'd you put it in there? Because here's the thing, initially when listening to it, I'm like, oh, so you're finally doing the thing that so many people wanted you to do. And that was literally to just grow up. Or at least attempt, at least try. And initially listening to the song, I'm like, oh shit. He's actually trying to do it. And then proceeds to throw it all away in the next song. I hate that. Cause like, bro, like what was the point of even having that as a first song if we're gonna be honest with you, bro? What was the point? I'm sitting here looking, I'm just like, what? You could have done that. And going into NK's idea, it could have been a concept album where you start to explore different emotions because you're the emotion guy. Right? You're the guy that literally your whole catalog is you expressing your emotions. So why not use that strength to your advantage and start to form a story, which is literally what the story happened 2 years ago when you got your ass beat. There's nobody that
Which
can tell me otherwise. You got your.
He
Let me tell you something.
cooked.
It's one thing to catch
yeah.
to ass. This is like taking a whip and pause. Your back piece is getting lit up. Pause. I'm just
Pause.
I said
Hey,
it twice.
yo.
I said it twice. Allow me. Anyway. See, me being a creative, me having been in creative strategy rooms, me being an individual that actually like sat alongside artists when they're building projects, etc. I'm just like, so who was in the room with you? Were they awake? And did they contribute at least? Like, nah, bro, just move it here.
Nah.
Did they at least do that? The answer is clearly no.
They were on some Snoop Dogg shit.
Like you out here dropping all these tracks,
Right.
thinking you're Chris Brown dropping a 45 track project. You are not him, and even he's not him no more. Like it's just so disappointing. It's so disappointing because I'm not possessed by the illusion. I don't have that spirit or that demon over me that's saying, oh, nah, this is the greatest thing in the world. Bro, this is the greatest project I ever heard in such a long time. Hip hop is back up, not because of that.
Nah.
Nothing is up
No.
because of that.
No sane human being has that demon over them.
Bro, it's getting to a point where somebody's gonna have to just like someone got to say something. Like it's just getting a little ridiculous. It's like at this point we're all waiting and sitting hoping that scapegoat is really gonna come around because it's getting to a point where, and I've said this in the past couple of videos, where people be playing in your face and a lot of us be allowing it. Of course, people here within the hip hop community on YouTube, that's not happening. But the fact that they're playing in your face, they lying to your face, they're not even trying to tell a good lie. They're getting lazy with the lies, but you're still believing it. At that point, I gotta look at you now, the consumer base. I'm looking at y'all just like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, so did you sit in the front or the back of the class when you were in school? Because it's given back of the classroom. When I
Mm-hmm.
look at the consumer base and they're just accepting everything that is thrown at them, that's scary to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
real scary.
Look, the other thing, and going off of what we're talking about with the lack of creativity, like Drake doesn't watch battle rap. He lied, bro. This nigga, he doesn't really watch battle rap because ain't no way
I
he
study
watches
rap
battle
battles
rap
for a living.
and he thought he could say spinning downtown like hula hoops. Is it the fair skin or the Jewish roots? Why people want to not see me on the top of the mountain like I do to do? Ain't nobody that watches battle rap writing that down thinking that's a good bar in 2026. Not a single person, because every not see bar was done in fucking 2005. Cassidy probably has a not see bar like that fucking from way back then. I know for a fact Conceited, who's a battle rapper, who's now on Wild 'N Out, has done that. I know for a fact Charlie Clips, who's a battle rapper on Wild 'N Out, has done that. What are we doing? Even bar, like even if we again, even if we ignore all the extra shit, right? All the stuff outside the music, just listen to the bars, right? Horrible. It's horrible writing. I'm sorry. Like it's horrible. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. It's it's fucking trash, bro. Like that's supposed to be a bar, and the sad part is, I know he thought that was amazing. Like he thought, like, oh, niggas is gonna think I'm really writing on this one, and he came up with a Mountain Dew not see bar. Like, what are we talking about, bro?
Yeah, he definitely got his bars from AI. Like there's no way that you can tell me that. Oh, I forget what bar he said, but he said something about a Maybach, and we're riding in it beep beep. I was like, what the fuck? What? And then I looked to my right to my coworker at the time, right? The dude is jamming to it, and I'm just like, are you serious? The fuck is that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I gave it the work test. I gave Iceman the work test. Can I play the shit and try to listen to it without any skips?
Mm.
And I hit the skip button 17 times. That's why I said that shit in the beginning. 17 skips.
I believe
I'm
you.
not I'm not counting Habibti because I haven't heard the whole thing. I'm not counting Maid of Honor because I haven't heard the whole thing
You
still
don't need
till
to.
this day.
You're good. You don't need to. So it's throwaways, bro. That's why he put out that many songs. Like you don't release that many songs without it being a throwaway, bro. That's some shit you do where it's like, oh, I just been sitting on this for too long. I'm sure like my diehard fans will kind of want to peep this shit. Let me just throw it out there. Like what? Like what? What are we
Why does he
doing,
keep
bro?
dissing Jay-Z?
Man, because Jay-Z to him is like, that's why Jay-Z was on his first album. Thank Me Later, right? That's the first one. Because the reason why Jay-Z is on his first album is
The first
because
one, oh, his
Jay-Z,
first album, like very first?
Yep.
yeah, like his first like studio released album, right? That would have been
So
Thank
Far
Me
Gone
Later.
or
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
Me
He was
Later?
on that song. What's it called? Um,
It's
he
been a
had a
long
bar,
time.
right? Let me pull it up. Thank Me Later, Drake. Da 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 da. So his very first album, Jay-Z is featured on the song. Da, 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 da.
Wasn't it
Jeezy's
Pound
on
Cake?
Light Up, Light Up. Even when the song goes on, we gonna make this bitch light up.
Yeah.
Remember that one? Yeah, it's that song. So Jay-Z is on his first album. You know why? Because people like Drake and a lot of other rappers are like this. The way they understand rap and hip hop is through the lens of who is making the most money and who is the most popular. That is who I want to be, right? That is who I want to be. That's why even Kanye before he had a falling out with Jay did the whole thing about, oh, like he would always say like Jay-Z's my favorite rapper, Jay-Z's my favorite rapper, right? He always used to say that. He did a song called Big Brother with Jay on there. Well, about Jay. I don't think Jay was on the song, but he was, it was about him. But basically, like, to them, Jay-Z is like is Hova, literally. Like they see Jay-Z as like a god to aspire to be. So because of that, if he's incapable of being that person, Jay, right, then the only other option is to try to fight that person or to, go against that person. It's like a bratty child. You know what I mean? Y'all already know how much I don't like Jay-Z. I could talk about that shit for a very long time. But speaking on
I remember that
uh
shit.
yeah, but speaking on just how Jay is seen from the perspective of someone like Drake, that's why he can't stop talking about Jay, is because and think about it, he did the same thing with the Clips, who was his favorite rap group when he was younger, right?
Mm,
Push didn't approve of him, so what did he do? He lashed out like a child, right? It's the
Mm-hmm.
same mentality. It's the same mentality of like, oh, like this person is, what I want to be, and I look up to them. So he's like, oh, but trying to like, Tiff called me a hater. I'm dead, bro. Tiff, don't do that, because why is everybody forgetting what Jay said when the Cole shit was happening? Why are we all just forgetting that happened? What he said about hip hop, what he said about. So it's that in tandem with other shit he said. That's why I bring this up. It's not because I like some Jay songs. I like the Black Album. I like a good chunk of Blueprint and some of his other projects. I like some Jay.
right.
Dead Presidents is one of my favorite hip hop songs, period, from back in the day. So because of that, it's who he is as an entity in hip hop. Because one thing I mentioned the last time I talked to Flex, and people were asking me, oh, like, what do you think about the Jay-Z diss to Drake? The one thing I said was Drake wouldn't exist if it wasn't for people like Jay-Z. That's what I said. Drake wouldn't exist if it wasn't for people like Jay-Z. So that's why you have this tension between them, because there's that like, oh, who's, I'm still the richest one, i.e. Jay. And then someone like Drake is like, oh, I want to be that, but I can't be that. So I'm going to like whine and cry about it annoyingly because I can't get approval. But obviously some of that's tied to like, some other stuff behind the scenes, I'm sure. However, generally
Mm,
speaking, that's how it is, where it's like people like Drake see Jay-Z as like this god because that's who they're trying to be. And realistically, there's only one spot for that person, because that's how the system is set up. It's designed that way. We'll give a few of y'all some crumbs and make you feel good and make you all feel like you can be this one person, but statistically speaking, it's impossible. It's impossible. How many Jay-Z's are there? One, right? Like, let's really think about that. But anyways, but that's why Drake has that mentality. It's because it's
right.
very like, oh, like my dad won't approve of me type shit. So fuck you, fuck you, dad, pulling out the Degrassi out him type shit. So I just feel
Right.
like that's the reality. So if you don't get that approval, you lash out, you cry, you moan, and that's what he's doing. He's moaning. And I mean, we all know Jay-Z's a better writer than fucking Drake. So I mean, in terms of whose bars were better, obviously it's gonna be Jay-Z. Even though I don't like Jay-Z as a person, I think he can rap his ass off. Like I would
Oh yeah.
never deny that part of it without question. However, it's like that's the dynamic between them. And Drake, did everything he was supposed to do in a sense to be able to become that. He followed all the rules. He, made them the money he needed to make them. He didn't do anything controversial in the sense of like, he never talked about politics. He never, did the things that he's not supposed to do to ruin his PR, right? At least in most of his career until, the whole beef happened. But generally speaking, he wasn't rewarded for that in the way that he would like to be rewarded for that, which is to be the top guy, which also means making the most money for in that mentality, right? Now that I support that mentality, but that's how he sees it in my view.
Right. I don't agree with what Jay Z said, but when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to hip hop and what Jay-Z is actually trying to do, which is Kendrick came in and basically washed away all the bullshit music. The Clips came by, they decided to, drop their version of what hip hop is. They gave their music to hip hop. Jid gave his music to hip hop. J. Cole, for what it's worth, gave his version of hip hop as well. Everybody that is giving and dropping music are giving their version of hip hop. And for Jay-Z to come out here and give his rebuttal, a freestyle, which we haven't seen an acapella freestyle in a while from an old head, which to me that was amazing to see. I fucking love what I saw from Jay-Z and that freestyle. Um, I think that he's trying to push hip hop back to where it was 10, 15 years ago, which was, to me, that's what hip hop was. That's what hip hop is. It's not the I mean, again, I understand that dancing and all that is part of the pillars. I completely understand that. And I don't, you know, I understand that, but that's not the type of hip hop that I see. I like listening to like lyrics, and for Jay-Z to come out here and do what he did live on stage, give crowd control while he was freestyling, and then still remember what he was talking about after he said what he said to the crowd, and give bars to Nicki Minaj, give bars to Drake. To me, that shit was fucking amazing. I fucking love that shit, and especially because I was brought up on the Blueprint 2, on basically all the blueprints. And for what it's worth, not that many people like the Magna Carta, but I enjoyed the Magna Carta. I did.
Why?
Huh?
I said why? Why?
Why did I enjoy it?
You don't have to
He
actually answer.
he
I'm
gave
fucking with you, but
um let's see. I do enjoy listening to Jay-Z's stuff, but again, Jay-Z adding to hip hop and then him possibly coming out with a project, whether it's a diss or uh, uh, a couple songs, a couple disses, that would be amazing for hip hop. That would be what's actually going on in hip hop today, and it would add on to his legacy later on. But again, I don't agree with what he said in that interview, but I do like what he's doing for hip hop.
hmm hmm
Oh, yeah,
No, I
that
get that.
those are my two
Hey,
I
cents.
real
respect
real
that. I
quick,
respect that.
that freestyle. First of all, what a breath of fresh air. All
It
right.
was.
Now, I still think he wrong for what he said about the pillars, because the pillars is what makes the culture,
It is.
right? And then when you're looking at hip hop in itself, it's like, bro, like there's like a force that comes with hip hop where it's like wherever it goes, it dominates.
Hmm.
When you bring the culture with you into a new genre of life, when hip hop come in, it makes things colorful. It makes things interesting. It makes you want to tune in. It makes you want to check it out. It makes you want to engage with the content. That's why we're slowly getting new pillars as the years go by. It's not just four. It's like there's way more now. But to see that freestyle, first of all, that felt like battle rap. Like the way that
It
he was
did.
spacing out the bars, it felt like he was sat down with Loaded Lux or some shit. It's just interesting, but like to witness that in that moment. First of all, and Diva said in the chat, those are responses. It wasn't really like, oh, he see this. That's another thing. People don't understand what dissing is, or they don't understand dissing or roasting culture. Because
Facts.
if you've been living your life, taking care of your kids, making sure your family right, making sure your business right, and then while you're doing that for over a decade, for many years, you have nothing but degenerates just on different screens, on different songs, dissing you. And now you gotta sit back like, so what do you mean fuck me for? like what are you talking about?
He's just
Bro,
existing.
when you have one dude out here, Dame Dash, with his teeth tumbling out his mouth, I love that bar, bro. I love that bar so much. You have Dame Dash, you have Nicki Minaj, you have Kanye, Tory Lanez, and his father. Now, I don't really need these two to be added, but it makes sense, especially for Tory Lanez father, because he's talking crazy about Jay-Z, Rock Nation, etc. But like when you have all these individuals, all they do is chat, yap, and don't do nothing else. And they keep bringing your name up as if you did something to them yesterday.
Facts.
At some point, you're going to have to say something. But keep in mind, we're living in an age where it's like, when it comes to rollouts, when it comes to pushing music, when it comes to creating a moment, you got to find the right time to do it. It's not like you can just do it whenever. That's not how things are working right now. It's not like that anymore. You got to strategize better. Roots Picnic, that's a wonderful place, especially with your name, because people going to wait for you. So at that point, all cameras are on you. So now you pick the right moment to speak. They have no choice but to listen. Now, if
Yep.
you're out here responding, now they look crazy because he was quiet for years and all y'all did was yap. So I'm looking at all the individuals that were chosen to be a part of that response. I'm just looking at every single one of them like, y'all, you know you can't speak now, right? Because the more you speak is the more crazy you look. Because he finally responded after the years of lashing that you
10
gave
years.
that you gave him. So I don't know. And then when you throw Drake in there, it's just like you like a kid in a candy store that really want the candy at the top shelf, knowing that you can't get up there and knowing that your mama don't like you eating sweets, but you're in here because you're in here because you did good on your test.
Hmm.
There's just some things you just can't get, bruh. I understand you're the golden goose, that you're the golden child of streaming, but we're living in an age where your superpowers do not work no more. Streaming is not as good as people think. When you start to break it down and look at it for what it really is, it's kind of haunting. And what's worse is that the fact that people are trained or conditioned to think that streaming outweighs physical sales. That's a
Facts.
scary thing. Y'all don't got your math in order. You don't want a lot of money. You know, I hate bringing up them two girls, but them two girls that couldn't say the number in the trillions. They're struggling to say the number in the trillions. I ain't gonna lie. That's your fan base, bro. Your fan base like big numbers, but they can't count that high. That's concerning, man. And don't even get me started on them the state lawsuits.
Oh shit.
Lord, it's getting scary out here. What else? What else? Impact, Roots Picnic, Iceman, Habiti, Maid of Honor. It's just when you just hearing that in itself. Take Jay-Z out for a second. Just listing it off.
Hmm.
That don't even sound right. That don't even sound like what Drake usually does. It's like this was a panic move.
Hmm.
Like you had normal options, but to do this. But the
Trying to
problem in
see.
that is, you got to do more, right? You got to make something better than the last one, right? Now, a lot of people are predicting the next Scary Hours or another or Dark Lane demo tape part 2, whatever. What are you going to talk about on there? Are you still going to be dissing people?
Mm.
Because that's technically what you do for those projects. When it comes to those EPs, you really like to sneak this the best on those.
Yep.
Like I'm worried about. Let me make this clear. I'm worried about the artist Drake because he's a representation here in Toronto. So whatever he does that looks crazy is reflected on the city. So if he's seen as crazy, a lot of people here are going to see that, emulate that. Now we look crazy. This is why I want him to do better so we don't look crazy. Like when you live here, like the shadow of Aubrey is all over the city, right? So it's like, damn, if you just keep effing up like that, it's not going to look good on us. Like at some point, you're going to have to start making the right moves again. You got to get back in your bag. You got to get back in your lane. But what does that even look like today, knowing that you can't really do that no more? You got to challenge yourself. You got to step out your comfort zone. You got to create. You got to strategize. Like what NK said, concept album. Like, bro, it's getting dark, bro.
Mm-hmm.
This is your legacy we talking about. It's like you don't want or you don't care for it. That worries me, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because what does that say about the rest of the artists here? Oh, even better. With the amount of artists that are here quitting being an artist because it's not working.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about that. There's a lot of artists around here that are giving up being an artist because it's not working because of all that gatekeeping. We've talked about the gatekeeping on here before when it comes to OVO. The fact that it's getting that bad, you don't want a legacy for this city? Bro, I'm scared, dude.
He thinks he's the legacy. That's the problem.
But look what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Look what you're doing. Like it's that doesn't sound like legacy. The moves you're making doesn't look like legacy.
Yeah.
Just because you have a glove, mind you, a replica glove, don't mean that you really that guy, because you're not. I've never seen you with a Billie Jean. I never heard no Thriller from you. Yeah, I ain't seen no Beat It.
Nope.
Damn sure ain't got no Remember the Time, because to this day, people still doing the dance.
To this day. To this day.
Like, you damn nigga, you ain't got no freaking Earth Song. You ain't got no Human Nature. You don't have no Wanna Be Starting Something. Where those at? Because this is you we talking about, right? Mr. I passed Mike Jack, but you have nothing to show for it. Because once you go through the number ones, it's like, Nick, are you
also, bro?
Man, did he really pass Mike Jack? Because most of those songs were features.
Hey, bro, that's what they put together
to
present to the world.
The comparison doesn't even make sense at all. First of all, they're in different eras. You know what I mean? There were less human beings on the world in the 80s and 90s than there are now. So to even make the comparison doesn't even make sense. There's more people that exist now to listen to music. So even if the numbers on the surface look like they're higher or whatever, it's like there's more people that exist in the world. And music is way more accessible now than it was in the 80s and 90s. So someone like Michael Jackson or whoever from that era were working extra overtime to like promote the music, blah, 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 and all the stuff that comes with that. So you can't even be like, oh, now that I'm in the internet age, who am I going to compare myself to? The Beatles? It's like why? Like that was in the 60s and 70s. Michael Jackson is literally from the 70s to like the 90s was like his peak. You know what I mean? So the comparison doesn't even make sense. You know, it's like for him to even, inflation, like so many different factors. So it's like, you can't even compare in reality, like, yourself to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was great for what he was at that time because that's what he did in that time. You're not in that
Right.
time. So to even be like, I did this better. It's like, what did you do better? You're playing a completely different ball game than they were playing back then. So what point are you even making at that point? And what does that even mean concretely, right? At the end of the day, is the art good? No,
Nope.
right? And something being popular doesn't make it fucking good. Vanilla Ice was popular. Fucking Milli Vanilli was popular,
Oh
right?
God.
Like, right? So if Milli Vanilli was popular, right? Milli Vanilli probably sold more than fucking any rapper in the fucking 90s, right? Or most of them probably most of them. So you're gonna tell me Milli Vanilli is better than Sean Price? You're gonna tell me Milli Vanilli is better than MF Doom? You're gonna tell me, you know what I mean? Better than Queen Latifah? Hell
Hell
no.
no.
Like, like it's bullshit, bro. Like it's ridiculous to even think on that level. But that's the type. Yeah, Old Town Road was fucking popular. Like, exactly. Like, it's like, what are we doing?
It's getting bad outside, man.
It
I don't
is.
know. Cause here's the
But hey,
thing, right?
gentlemen. Hey,
Yeah,
gentlemen. I gotta. Yeah, I have to head out.
they do your
No
thing.
worries, dog, man.
Appreciate you
But
for
yeah, I'm
pulling
a.
up.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And y'all hit that like button and subscribe to each of us. Our names are up on the screen. J Tom Reactions, NK Archaic, and the Flexion. You obviously already sub up to Flex. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Shout out, shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, man.
but yeah, man, keep your ears out for a Jay Z album if he does drop one,
Oh,
or a
there will
Jay
be.
Z diss. But if he does drop one, y'all already know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So peace out. And Tiff Tiff, I am telling you what to do. peace, peace out.
All right,
Peace and
later, bro.
love. Ya tú sabes. Let's go.
Yeah,
Peace, dog.
yeah. We're pretty much gonna wrap up here in a bit too. So,
We gotta talk about Toronto.
ah,
You touched on it. You touched on it. But I think we really need to excavate this, bro. Cause like, think about it. Like, it's like a cult. You know what I mean? It's like there's a spell cast on Toronto. There's a spell cast on Toronto to where their mindset is like, and obviously when we're speaking generally, right? Obviously, Flex lives in that region of the world. There's millions of people that live in that region of the world that do not like Drake and do not like this album. They exist. That's why that woman called into that radio show and said what she said. She's from Toronto. Um, it's very easy to find voices, maybe not in the mainstream, but if you look online or in the world in general, it's very easy to find people from the GTA, Greater Toronto area, or Toronto that don't like OVO. They'd never like Drake. But there's a lot of people, millions of people. However, unfortunately, in the media and in the mainstream and all of that stuff, the narrative is completely different from that. There's zero criticism. The whole ideology is, oh, he put us on. If it wasn't for him, and it's like, first of all, it erases the a lot of the artists that came before him that really laid that groundwork, like Cardinal. um you could even put Maestro, Fresh West in there. You can put,
yeah.
even Choclair. Like, there's a lot of people that were making music before him that had some level of crossover to the US market as well, even Chaos as well. There's a lot of artists, right? Did they break through in the same way Drake did? Of course not. However, if it wasn't for those people, there would be no Drake, right? If it wasn't for those people putting in that work and, making their names known as best as possible throughout the country and elsewhere. So even if you've never heard of these names that I'm talking about, we should understand that nothing comes from nothing. Everything comes from something, right? Um, Toronto has a lot of talent. Toronto has a lot of very interesting things that happen. However, unfortunately, in the mainstream culture of Toronto, none of that shit is allowed to exist in reality, right? So a lot of people from Toronto that have that same mentality and share the same mentality of Drake, i.e., kind of like worshiping money and worshiping, uh, you know, uh, uh, just looking a certain way and abundance and flexing in public and all this type of stuff, being extra. People that ascribe to that love Drake. They love him, not only in Toronto, even outside, right? Even the people we're talking to in the States or wherever that love him. And there's a lot of people in the world that love him. Um, it's the same problem. They all ascribe, for the most part, they all ascribe to that type of ideology, because realistically, a lot of people there, they're just like, they're regular people, they have jobs, they whatever, but then they all have this thing in their mind like, oh, I want to be that guy. They're all looking to somebody and like trying to model themselves after somebody because they're too scared of reality. They're too scared to accept who they are and where they are, right? There's nothing wrong with aspiring to be something. We all aspire to be something, but when you treat another human being, another man, woman, or whatever, as your blueprint for your existence, your entire existence, this is what the result is. People that can't think critically, people that can't think outside of the box in which they live in, within their regional or their region or their area, like all of that is what leads to this. And these people that really just don't want to accept that he's not that good anymore. Like, he hasn't been that good for a long time. In my opinion, since Views, he hasn't been that good. And even the stuff before Views, Ghostwriters, blah 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 blah. So was he ever really that good? When you think about it, you know what I mean. When you really really sit down and think about it, was he ever that good? No. But Wayne put him on. Baby, whatever they put him on, which is also interesting, right? Because why is it that some of the most popular rappers in the world at that time, especially Wayne, right? Why is it that they picked Drake? That's another thing to think about. Money. And what was the name of their label again? What was it? Cash. They even put the word money twice. Cash Money. Three times. Cash Money Millionaires. Cash Money. Think about how ridiculous that sounds. So are we surprised, right, that people in that camp, and as much as we love mixtape Wayne, as much as we love a lot of the things Wayne did at that time, right? He never had a message, right? He was always very empty and for the most part surface level. There's some one-off examples where he goes a little deeper. Is it ever on his album though? Not really. Usually it's on the mixtapes, right? It's usually not on the thing he's actually selling to the masses. It's usually on the thing where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna drop this on the side or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, we have to consider that trajectory as well, right? The fact that he came up off another label that was already kind of selling bullshit for a very long time, if we're being honest. I still like some of them songs, don't get me wrong, that came out of Cash Money, but they sold a lot of bullshit, right? They sold a lot of BS. So, and not only to the masses, but to the black community, right? So that's the other thing we have to consider. So they seen, okay, this man is light skinned, he's mixed, and he's Jewish, and he's black. Okay, this is perfect. This is perfect. And he's from out there somewhere. Perfect. Perfect way for us to mold and shape something so that we can make money off it, right? And someone like Drake and most rappers who already has that mentality of, oh, I gotta be the top guy. I gotta be better than, I gotta be not only be Jay-Z, I gotta be better than Jay-Z or whatever it is. They all have the same mentality. So to them, they're like, oh, well, shit, Cash Money's reaching out to me. Of course, I'm gonna take that opportunity. Who wouldn't, right? That's the mindset. So he did what he needed to do, made the money he needed to make or whatever. But here we are in 2026. And how's Wayne doing the last time we tried listening to his albums? How's Wayne doing? Did we forget about that too with the Carter? Yeah. So this is what happens when hip hop and pop music are in an abusive relationship. This is what happens. Hip hop is in an abusive relationship with pop because hip hop comes from something. Hip hop comes from Black American culture primarily, right? Black American culture, Black American expression, struggle, etc., etc., etc. So once you start disconnecting from that, you get this. And here we are 20 odd years later, right? Are we surprised? Should we be surprised that we made it here? We shouldn't be. Realistically, we shouldn't be surprised, right? We saw it coming in a sense, right? By the time we hit like the snap era and the swag era, and sure, we had a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. We were all having a lot of fun during that time. But you reach a certain point in your life where you're like, there's too much fun being had here. There's too much fun being, especially
Bro, you sound
when
like
you
a
think
father. Like, y'all having too much fun around this motherfucker.
especially when you consider what's actually going on in the world. That's the point, right? Because hip hop culture and any art form in reality is just a reflection of what's happening in reality. So if what we're seeing in hip hop, at least in the mainstream popular sphere, is Drake or whatever it is that's mostly being pushed and promoted. And you get some anomalies in there, right? You might get your Vince Staples, your Kendricks, and things of that nature. You get some anomalies. However, generally speaking, this is the way the wheel turns, right? Is the Drakes. It's that's who's being pushed the most. That's who's really being promoted heavily to be like a representative of the establishment. So that's what he did his job. You know, he did what he was quote unquote supposed to do. And here we are in 2026, and we're like, oh, why do things look like this? Because if the music is showing us someone that is willing to ignore reality to make money, then what does that say about the rest of us? Right? If, like Flex was saying earlier, the consumers are also responsible, right? As people that listen to music and art and we consume it, we are also responsible in large part to what we see in the public. So if the top rapper, one of the top rappers in the world is saying, you know, fuck the world, I just want to make money and whatever, then what are we saying? Then what did we do to the culture? How did we get here? And that's what has to be overturned. That's what has to be changed moving forward. It's just that, like, you know, we can have fun, but it has to be controlled. It has to be contextualized, right? It has to be understood that this comes from something. This comes from real pain, real struggle. I think Tiff earlier said that like Drake should talk about where he's from. I agree with that, right? I agree with that. There's a lot of things happening in Canada.
I
A
don't know
lot of
if you
things that are
can.
horrible happening. There's a really bad fentanyl crisis in Canada. No, that nobody
He
likes
can't.
to
He's not able
talk
to do
about.
that.
There's a crazy homelessness crisis in Canada that
He's
nobody
not
wants to
able to
talk
do. You
about.
think he's gonna talk about homeless people? What the hell? What are you talking
But
about,
that's
bro?
my point. I'm not expecting him to do that. I'm just saying,
I know.
right? And I know you know that, but
Yeah.
and it's funny. But that's the reality, right? It's like we know he's not capable of that. Like I know I'm not expecting Drake to do that in any fucking planet in the world. But generally speaking, if you understand hip hop and you understand art and what it really means, we should be terrified right now, right? If someone can drop 3 garbage albums and it's still getting played that much, even if there's bots, even if there's whatever, that's part of it. However, people are still listening to this guy. People are still
Mhm.
listening to this stuff and enjoying it too because they've been trained to enjoy it. So we got to ask some more questions. We got to figure something out. That's all I'm saying. But we have to understand that whole trajectory of what happened to hip hop, how it was absorbed into these monopoly fucking you know, labels. Like there's like fucking what, 5 major labels now, right? Like that's crazy. Five niggas owning everything is crazy, bro. Like that's you can't even. Anyways,
All right. Now, if we're gonna be talking about Toronto, oh God, we got to start from the beginning.
what was the reaction on the streets to Iceman?
I mean, I posted some of my reactions. Like, it's mixed. It's mixed. Like, it's literally split in half. Like, you're gonna have like, it's literally like, how do I put this? It's like a battle between people that have intelligence and people that have zero brain cells. of course, one side is gonna be like, bro, that him? What? That's not even like that album was not
Mm-hmm.
good. But
Mm-hmm.
the other side is like, yo, this is the greatest album in the world, bro. Like yo, fam, like yo, this is actually fire, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I promise you, like, and then when you're in the clubs, when you're in some of these bars, and they're playing the tracks, and nobody's moving, but he's playing shebang. He's playing
Mm-hmm.
Janice STFU. That's concerning. Those are the hot tracks off of Iceman. Nobody's really wanting to listen to anything off of BT or Made of Honor because the songs on those projects are really not that good. Of course, like Habiti might have the better tracks than Made of Honor, but regardless, it's like no, it's not good. And on top of that, he should have switched the names on Habiti and Made of Honor, like switch the product, like you know what I'm saying. Anyway, um, but yeah, like there's some videos that I shared in the Discord where it's like you're gonna see like a group of people just like on the side, like yeah, they're enjoying it, but not even that much because the rest of the crowd is standing and just talking. Like shit looks like a waiting room. But if we're gonna talk about Toronto now, we got to go back to the beginning of this because we need to explain what Toronto is or what it really is. Jesus Christ. So, and funny enough, I had a comment under one of my videos where somebody was asking me that question, like, yo, why does Toronto accept Drake even though he has all these things that are on his shadow? Right? Well, the simplest answer is that, and then NK touched on it, is that the marketing really worked. And I mean, it worked really well because all you had to do was get, of course, what Drake is like, you know, half black, half white, Jewish. Like that in itself is like record labels would be foaming at the mouth for him, right? So all they had to do was build him into what they need, and that's literally a cash cow. But the strategy that they did, or the strategy that they took, is the reason why it's working so well today. And it actually stems from the consumer base in Toronto. But first, you got to understand the consumer base in Toronto. And to do that, you need to understand the culture, the people of Toronto. So when you have a city or when you have a country that is filled with individuals that have different cultures all over the place, and I'm not talking like culture wise from like province to province, territory to territory, or
The
state to
world.
state. We're talking international cultures. So when you have the Chinese with the Indians, and then over here you got the Caribbeans, and even now like you got a lot of people from like Russia coming over to Canada. Like you have literally like people around the world inhabiting Toronto, inhabiting Canada. So you have a lot of people around the world that don't really like hip hop like that, but they do love their pop stars, right? So with that idea in itself, when you have, say for example, you want to have a couple artists, like say you want to take Cardinal, Chaos, Maestro, Choclair, Mishi, if you want to take those artists and say let's have them have a performance, a little festival, a little concert around Sokovia Square. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people pull up. Of course, with people walking by, they're gonna stop and see what's going on, and like they're not really gonna like it. You're gonna have the people in the crowd that's engaging, that's loving the music. But when you're looking at Sokovia Square, which is like a big, like kind of plaza kind of area, that's literally around, it's like surrounded by buildings in downtown Toronto where the mall is. Even if you fill up that space, that's not a lot of people. And through hip hop eyes, that's not good. Right? So Keep in mind the
That's
people in
true.
the crowd now. When you have all these different people around the world, like, yeah, they might be liking the music and that's cool, but the longevity will never be there because they can't relate to the music, right? Now you have a bunch of people that don't really relate to the music. How do you make sure that you have all these people all accumulate over here and they love the music? You got to build an artist up so it's like people can relate to him through the bars. People can understand or see themselves because the relatability through the bars is back onto them. So it's like, oh shit, like, no, that was fire. But that wasn't a thought provoking bar. It's just that they understood it.
Mm.
Like, of course, like in Euphoria, Kendrick's like, I make music to electrify him, you make music to pacify him. But through that strategy of pacifying, look what it did to the city to amass all these people. And then you amass all these people in the city. Now you can take it international. But the problem is that now he has to relate to people in America. He has to relate to people in the UK. He has to relate to people in Australia. Now the challenge is like, how do we elevate this artist? And at that point, when you start to see the image changing, when he grows the beard, when
Mm.
he's talking more about girls, when he's talking more about getting lit, getting freaky, and then now you're hearing the sound is changing. Now
Mm.
it's like he really is a pop star because this record isn't much of a hip hop record. It's more of a record that can relate to the people that live over there. But the fact that it can relate to people over there, but it still works everywhere else. Now you're understanding that, oh, the formula that they're using is a pop star formula, kind of like Taylor Swift, but in a more rough, rugged, uh so-called what's the word they like to use, urban
Mm-hmm.
individual. So now that boy from the city, that's like their golden goose for streaming, is now an international sensation because, oh, we understand him, we get him. And then let's not forget the accent changing.
Mm.
Now you go in all these different places, making sure that you're a chameleon, blending in with the people, making yourself even more relatable. At that point, it's like an open treasure chest. All you got to do is take, because everything's working, everything's moving. People are loving the music. They buying the projects. Look what happened when Views came out. I ain't never seen nobody sell something like that. What the hell?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? But this is in that time period. Of course, when it comes to Michael Jackson, ain't nobody can do that. But in this time period right here, for people that don't know Michael Jackson's legacy, they're going to look at him like, oh my God, this guy's the greatest in the world. And that's all we heard over the years
Mm.
because of that illusion, because of the lack of knowledge of not understanding the artists in the past. That's why he never needed none of the Canadian artists to get lit, because he did it himself in a sense, or the strategy and the formula that he was taught is what he used to be great. And that's through UMG. But think about this. Like, imagine what UMG did by pouring into that artist. Imagine what they can do with other people, but why bother? Because look how much money he bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, if you look at that in a sense, it's almost like, what's that word I used to bring up all the time? When you platforming your artist, for lack of a better term,
Mm.
you're platforming them. I used to say the word all the time. I don't remember it,
Mm.
but it's like you've built him to be this, which is what they used to do in the past. Back in the day, in the 90s, the 80s, they built artists.
Mm.
Artist development. There we go.
Mm. Mm.
It's almost like they took that same strategy of artist development, but went all out and made sure that he looks like a saint. Well, up until today, but literally from the streets of Toronto, how they built him up is what you see today. And I feel like it's important to say that because once you get a better understanding of how this city has no real culture because it's surrounded by numerous cultures. You took all these people, put them together to create a monoculture that's shared to the world, which is why we have Aubrey and people love him for what he is, regardless if he's on stage with 17-year-old. I'm sorry, like it's crazy.
No, it's
Crazy.
like it's not even alleged. Like we seen, he said it
Like
out his own face. He said
the
it. He said
footage
that
is
shit.
still there
He said that shit. We
on
saw,
YouTube.
bro. And then he was still trying to hit on her even after she said it. Like we seen it, and we saw that. Because it's crazy. It's crazy how well the PR worked. Because for a lot of people, because bro, I remember seeing that fresh out of high school. Like I was probably like, I don't know, like 2021.
Yeah.
So this is probably like in between Thank Me Later and Take Care coming out. And then I remember seeing that shit and I'm being like, yo, like that's actually crazy fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember like, and I already didn't like him. Because even especially a little after that, even when he did like started from the bottom, like I hated that shit because I was like, this is false. Like he didn't start from like this is so false. Like this is a blatant lie. So what are we doing with this song? And he'd even write this shit, obviously, which isn't surprising. But the fact he was even still willing to perform it and it was still popular says a lot, right? If people are willing to believe such a blatant lie like that, it's actually insane. But I remember when that happened because it happened, and then I think a lot of people actually forgot about it between then and the Kendrick beef happening. I think like you said, I think the marketing and the PR was so good, which like in a way that's bad, right? But when we say good, we mean in terms of what they wanted to execute, they were able to execute well and effectively. Even if it's bad for like us on a cultural level or ideological level. But because of that stuff, it's like, it worked. And because it worked, not only on people here, but even people globally, unfortunately, then the lie continues. And even the word marketing, right? We use the word marketing. There used to be an old word that people used to describe that. It's called propaganda. That's what it is. It's propaganda.
Yo, NK.
Like,
Yo, NK, real quick. Started from the bottom. The music video. Where was it filmed in again?
I don't even remember, to be honest. I don't even remember the music video.
It was filmed in a Shoppers Drug Mart.
Oh yeah, it was in a Shoppers.
So let me ask you this question now. If you have a song called Started from the Bottom, but you're working in a Shoppers Drug Mart where they only select a few people to work there, it's not a big place, it's a small place. So selecting people is even harder than working at a Walmart. Does that sound like Started from the Bottom at all?
Nah, bro.
Why weren't you in a Walmart? Why weren't you in like a Food Basic, a Metro? Well, not Metro today, but Metro before. Or why weren't you at like a farmer's market, bro? Like if you want to talk about Started from the Bottom, like the man was in a Shoppers Drug, bro. I swear to God, like aside from the pharmacy and the Shoppers Drug Mart, there's only gonna be like 4 or 5 people on the floor.
Facts. Max.
That ain't no bottom.
Yeah.
If you want a Walmart, that's a bottom.
I feel you.
Like there's freaking workers all over the store. That's crazy, but no one clocks that.
That's a fact. Oh, someone had a question. I saw it earlier, but you were talking, so I didn't want to intrude.
What question? Was it this question right here?
Yeah, it was that one still. Yeah. Like,
Were you trying to answer that?
You first. I'm trying to answer that actually, because
run that.
For me, actually, I mean, how I felt. First, I'll answer the second one, then I'll tell you how I felt. When the first artist like I ever listened to that was a hip hop artist that I ever even heard. Fuck listened to. Like deliberately sitting down and listening to music that I heard. I was like 5, 6 years old. So all I gotta say is this, and it'll probably click as to who it is. So I had an older cousin who He was living with us. He came here from the Ivory Coast,
Okay.
and his name was Nasir. so
That's
so guess
nigga.
so guess who his favorite rapper was?
Nas.
Nas. So this is like probably like right after Illmatic. Now that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy to think about. I never really processed that. But he used I used to come home from school, like he would be blasting fucking Illmatic so loud, bro. Blasting. I'm knocking on the door trying to get in the house, blasting Illmatic, bro. Like, and I didn't understand none of it. I'm like 5, 6, you know what I mean? So my first introduction to hip hop, that shit pissed me off because I was like, yo, I'm trying to get inside the house, right? But as I grew older, and now I'm like 8, 9 years old, then I started to understand it. You know what I mean? Then I started to like actually process lyrics and like more deeply grasp what the meaning was. So a lot of that, like after Nas, so Nas is the first artist I ever heard that was a hip hop artist, hands down. Like it's possible that maybe when I was younger, maybe my mom played MC Hammer or some shit, probably maybe, you know. But in terms of like an artist that I knew this was a rapper, it was actually Nas. And then as I got older, then I got into like the typical kind of like Dr. Dre, Eminem, Tupac, Biggie type of stuff. You know what I mean? So I grew into that like a few years later. But in terms of like when I started to actually like understand hip hop and like really grasp it, it made me feel great. It made me feel amazing because it made me feel like, yo, like, they're just talking crazy. Like, they're actually talking about real life because most music at that time would have been like rock music, things that were like popular, like pop, I'm a Barbie girl, all that type of stuff. And, but like, so hearing hip hop was like, what is this? Right? It's like a whole different world, a whole different language, a whole different culture behind it. And you can feel that. So because of that, yeah, like it made me feel like, amazing. It made me feel like, especially being a Black person in Canada, right? Where you're isolated, right? When you grow up in Canada, it's like in Toronto now, especially, there's a lot of Black people, right? And even back then, there was a lot of Black people, but it was weirder being Black in Canada back then than it is now. You know what I mean?
It's still weird. What are you talking about?
And it's still weird. Don't get me wrong, but it was weirder in a different way back then. Because back then it was like, think about it. Most African and Caribbean immigrants that came to Canada was in the 80s and 90s. Most of them came here in the 80s and 90s because Canada was so racist that they used to have an immigration law that didn't allow people from darker skinned or colored countries to actually enter. It was literally a law. And then once they realized, we can exploit these people and make billions, then that's when they started letting Africans and Caribbeans and Indians and all types of people into the country. That's when they realized that. But anyways, long story short, yeah, it was Nas for me, and yeah, like it made me feel like, it made me feel like I had a voice, and I'm not even African American, but I'm Black though. So you know what I mean? So it's just like, yo, like they're talking what I'm going through. Because when I was younger, my family was living in housing. Like I literally grew up in housing. There used to be gunshots every night when I lived in every hood in fucking Toronto, like fucking Regent Park, Flemo.
That's cool.
Yeah, like
Regent
that's where
Park.
I grew up.
Nick,
Yeah.
Regent Park back then.
Bro. When I lived in Regent Park, I still remember there was a chalk outline of a man in our backyard because someone got shot in our backyard.
Dog,
I still remember
Regent
that
Park is hell.
Yeah, and we had
back
to move.
Then, at least
back then. Now it's gentrified, but back then it was crazy. So then from there we moved to Flemington Park, and then that's where I spent most of. And Flemo was crazy back then too. Like we knew multiple youths that went to prison or they died. Blah blah blah. Like there was even a nigga in our neighborhood who like killed his daughter or some shit. There was all types of crazy shit that used to happen. So for me, hearing hip hop is like, oh, this is the closest thing to what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Even though this isn't even America, right? So that's how I connect to the culture, is through that shit. But anyway, Flex, your turn.
All right. First of all, Tiff, you talking shit.
What she say?
No, I think the first one she said it was like, oh, my favorite is probably Vanilla Ice. Don't do that. Don't do that. Honestly, Tiff, you should know. Cause keep in mind, like, remember, living in a Caribbean household,
Mm.
when you're listening to nothing but, first of all, the vinyl tower.
Teddy Pendergrass.
The vinyl tower with the vinyl turntable on top with like the radio, the stereo, the CD port to put in your CDs and cassette tapes. That table, that tower. If anybody remembers that, first of all, that shit heavy to move, bro. But when we have reggae vinyls, when we have R&B like vinyls, and then you got like some CDs like of like Maxi Priest, and you have like the classics from like Teddy Pendergrass.
Yo,
That's what I grew up with first. I grew up Tim talking crazy.
Quickie said your favorite rapper was Fat Man Scoop.
Yeah, that's wild. So anyway, y'all honestly y'all should know. Cause I'm Caribbean, so y'all should figure it out. It's not hard. But think about it though. Think about it. They still talking anyway. With all that, because having like listening to reggae, dance hall, and then R&B, that was the first like couple genres I was introduced to. When it comes to rap, my first artist that I was introduced to was Busta Rhymes. With Busta Rhymes being a Caribbean.
What about Snow? He was Caribbean.
No, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. And on top of that, Busta Rhymes was my mom's favorite artist.
Oh, that's fire. That's fire.
Yeah, that's my mom's favorite artist. So through that, and I think the first song was I think it's between two songs. I think it's either If You Really Want to Party With Me or Give Me Some More. In those two songs, but like that introduction alone, where it's like, yo, this is what hip hop looks like when it's like kind of abstract, when it's like outside the box, when it's not within its traditions in a sense. That's what I was introduced to. I was introduced to the creativity that comes with hip hop. So
that shit was very creative.
Yeah. Bro, like I'm still waiting for his verses. That's all I'm saying, but
it's never gonna happen because who can beat him?
Good. But my point is, it's just the window that I was seeing hip hop through was so different. It was like everything else that I watch, I'm watching with interest of what can I hear, what can I expect in a time where music videos really mattered, right? And then funny enough, like, because I was introduced to Busta Rhymes first through my mom's, right? I might as well throw it in because like my dad's favorite artist at the time was 50 Cent. So it's kind of interesting, like, okay, my dad prefers like they're both mainstream technically, but like different kinds of mainstream from different regions. And at that point, I was kind of introduced to regions in a sense, right? Understand the regions when I'm sitting in front of the TV watching 106 in Park. Bro, that's like a window to like looking at what different regions in America sound like. And it's kind of cool, to be honest, because I'm sitting there with like I already have the interest that I've gained from Busta Rhymes. Now I'm looking at things like, oh, this is crazy, this is cool, oh, this is dope. When I first watch them Franchise Boys on TV, I'm like, oh, this fire. How they do that? How they do that snap thing again? Like, but like, it's just like I was like introduced to kind of like the fun that comes with it. So it's cool. And then later on, I would slowly understand, like, okay, this is what the experience is like in America, the systematic struggles and all that shit. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like, it's just so interesting that hip hop can like it branches out in so many different ways just through this one genre. Or not, no, hip hop is the culture through rap. So when you look at rap and it can branch out in different ways through that genre, like it's crazy. You know, but that's pretty much my experience.
No, that's a great. No,
Yeah.
that's, and I think that says a lot, right? So,
Yeah.
because imagine how sad it would be, right? Imagine you're born like 2008, or 2007 or some shit, and the nigga on TV that they're saying is the, because think about it, when we were coming up, hip hop wasn't as big. We were exposed to it because we were black, right? So my mom paid for BET. She paid extra
Yep.
for us to be able to watch BET because it didn't come with the regular stations. Like if you had the regular plan, it
That
didn't come with
package.
BET.
They like the package everything. That shit pissed me
right?
off.
You'd get like 30 channels. Most of them were Canadian. Most of them were ass.
Yeah.
And you would watch like YTV, which is like the kids television station.
The best one.
And that was kind of it though, right? And then you had we had much music and stuff, but that was like all pop. So hip hop was like you'd have 1-2 songs, but it wasn't really there. So for us coming up, sorry, no, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. It's just interesting how much music kind of helped develop the monoculture here.
I think so too, especially
by
after
making everything one, you know?
Yeah. Especially after a certain point, because it didn't always used to be like that. Because I remember in like the 90s, they actually tried to push the hip hop a little bit. Like they would have, it was called like the Basement or something. Like I remember they had some. No, it was not even the BET joint on Much Music.
On Much?
They would play like underground hip hop rappers from Canada. Like I remember this. I don't remember the name of the show.
It had too much
didn't
backlash.
work. It didn't work because one, because Canada's racist, but there's a lot of different factors as to why. But at least they had it and it existed, right? So to get to a point where, imagine again, you're born to 06 to 08, right? You don't know anything about Tupac. You don't know anything about Biggie. You don't know anything about fucking Busta Rhymes, Nas,
and the parents are not teaching.
Yeah. And the parents aren't teaching. But even if they are teaching, it's tough. Because even for parents, right? It's like, even if you're like, oh, you try to put your kid onto something,
and the shit
what are your
lame.
friends into though? Yeah. What are your friends into? So you're gonna try to be getting into that. So if Drake is the one on TV and they're like, oh, he's the biggest one, he's the whatever, it makes sense why a lot of these people have that mentality. You know what I mean? Especially for those that we're still coming over to Canada, right? From like Somalia or the Caribbean or whatever country or continent, right? Because for a lot of them, once they come here, it's identity crisis, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I thought I was Somali, but then now I'm in Canada. Maybe even they were born in Canada, but then your parents are like, oh, we're from here, but you don't live there. So you might still be connected to the culture. You might even go back home once in a while, whatever, but you live a very strange reality because of that.
Real quick. Do you remember at one point when Canada had an initiative to kind of push people back into their own cultures?
Kind of
like they would have like initiatives. They would have like festivals where it's like, yo, your culture's here. Yo, pull up. Yo, welcome home. I'm like, that's crazy. Bro, the fact that people come here and then they kind of forget themselves. So it's like they had to remind them, like, nah, just be this.
No,
like,
for real. For real. Yeah. It's weird like that. And I mean, again, like Canada's hella racist. So because of that, it's like they, when you come here, it's like a lot of people feel that pressure. Like, oh, I have to fit in.
They're good at suppressing it though. So we literally seem like, oh, we're the nicest people ever.
And it's all cap. It's all cap. It's like anything you hear about Canadians being nice and blah, blah, blah. Canadians are crazy, wild racists, bro. If we're talking like your average white Canadian citizen, obviously, you have your outliers, but generally speaking, they're hella like so racist. Like I couldn't even. You would think you're in fucking Alabama, bro.
You know what? Screw it. Yo, we got sundown towns here too. I know no one's gonna say it, and they're honestly all the sundown towns are really far, and I mean like really far. They still exist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And there's a
like,
lot of them. And there's a lot of them.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you
So
start from Toronto, when you start going out west, like
yeah,
really out west,
yeah,
oh, it's raps.
exactly.
Mm,
So think about all of those dimensions and dynamics I that we just talked about in terms of what happens here in Toronto or here in Canada in general. And then when you see someone like Drake, it makes sense
yeah,
because a lot of the people that live here are trying. It's like escapism. They're looking for a way to escape the reality for what it really is. So if you see someone that's racially ambiguous, right, that can represent everybody, quote unquote, and Flex was saying, like it's kind of like building a monoculture around that. That's how you get what we see here because people don't want to address reality, but they're also brainwashed into not addressing reality, right? Which is that Canada is not what people think it is. Like Canada's literally built on lies upon lies upon lies. So for a lot of these people coming over, right, it's not the same as African Americans who were enslaved hundreds of and years ago and kept somewhere hundreds and years ago. So their culture developed in a specific way. Same with Caribbeans as well, or people in Latin America. Their culture is, 400 years is a long time, right? To develop somewhat of an identity and all these things around something. um don't get me wrong, a lot of the immigrants coming here still have a lot to connect on, or in terms of colonialism, right? If you're from India, the Philippines, Ghana, it doesn't matter. Your country was touched by colonialism and racism,
mm-hmm.
in some extreme way, in some shape or form. But that's the hard conversation to talk about. So people don't want to talk about that. People want to live in an illusion. They want to live in a false reality. So if you prefer that and you've been brainwashed into thinking that's what your existence should be, then of course someone like a Drake is going to be appealing, right? Of course someone like him is going to be easy to sell to you so that you can feel like, oh yeah, I'm from Toronto, dog, blah blah blah. It's like, are you though? You know what I mean? Like are you though? Like how long have we been here? Like not that long, right? That doesn't mean you can't identify with where you're from, but we have to be real with understanding where we are, right? Like this was like native people's land. They fucking killed off a bunch of them, and exploited the shit out of them, and the land that they fucking took care of for all these years. Then they created this false Canadian identity on top of that, right? Oh, the flag, beavers, and beer. Like, you know what I
Man,
mean? Like,
listen, Drake can't do it, bro. He can't do it, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, think about it. You think Drake got to changes?
hell no.
That's just the way it is.
I
Like,
know he can't do, and I don't want him to do it because I'm gonna do it. I don't want to.
do it, bro. The hell, do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Say less.
But
Bro,
like, bruh,
Drake representing escapism is hilarious, bro.
it's a fact.
You escape from reality and you escape from intelligence.
Mhm.
Yo, we're gonna call it here, bro. I didn't think we
Mhm.
were gonna make it to the 2-hour mark. I'm gonna be super honest.
We did it, dog.
But we did it. I don't know how, because literally I usually have these scripted. I ain't gonna hold you. There was
Mhm.
no script. Like
Mhm.
there's zero
Mhm.
script. I usually have like the questions lined up. There was 0 questions. I don't know how we did that. That's crazy. Damn, bro. But yo, real
Locked
quick,
in.
shout out to everybody in the chat, bro. Real talk. Shout out to the Flex Mob.
Respects.
Shout out to J Tom for pulling up. Shout out to the mods.
Shout out
Appreciate y'all.
King Hammer.
I lie. King Hammer too. You know? Yeah, today is good. And I got work in a little bit too.
Oh, that sucks, dog.
Fortunately, the DJ spin tonight is really good, so I'm straight, bro.
Okay,
Real
that's
talk.
cool. That's cool.
And shoot, shout out to me for my first time DJing yesterday.
Shout out, bro. Congrats, man.
That's
Congrats.
crazy. I had a 5-hour shift DJing.
That's
straight.
hard. That's hard.
But it was good. Like I had fun with it, and then like some of my peoples were pulling up, even though I didn't tell nobody. Like it was actually amazing.
That's fire.
Dope live. I appreciate y'all. Real talk. Real talk.
Oh, much
real
love
talk.
to the
Thank
chat,
you.
yo. Much
Nah,
love.
for real, bro. I like seeing people.
I love how
in the chat.
engaged. Yeah, like I love how engaged you
You
all are.
know?
Like, trust me.
It's real talk, man.
Like
So
asking good questions, like locked in.
I love that. When I see people just like locked in with the conversation, I'm like, we doing something right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's up to us, like especially in Canada, because like in America, they killing it already. But in Canada, bro, we need more conversations, like serious conversations, fun conversations, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the thing is that we're not showing up online like that. We're showing up on social media. That doesn't do anything. Like, you got to show up online, bro. Real talk. No, I didn't play Fat Man Scoop.
You play that Lose Control. I mean, that is a classic.
I did play that.
Then you play Fat Man Scoop.
Nah, bro. Like, if it was me playing Fat Man Scoop, I'm gonna play like his actual.
I know what you mean. I get what you're saying. I'm just being an asshole.
Yeah, it's all good. But now we're gonna call it here. Shout out to the chat. I appreciate everyone pulling up, stopping by.
Respects.
Not gonna be live tomorrow, but I'll be back on Monday. So stay tuned for that. But thank you to everyone pulling up. Thank you for J Tom King Hammer for pulling up. Appreciate y'all. Honestly, I thought we needed more people for this, but the way that we took care of it today, we just had the right amount of people. You know, and I think we did a good job with this one. So
facts.
Yeah, and RIP Fat Man Scoop, real talk. So with that being said, y'all know what it is. You tapped in with the Flex Mob. Y'all know the spiel. Take care, be well, be safe. Stay true, be you, live long, and long live. Peace. Have a great day. Have a great night wherever you're on this world. And thank you for stopping by.
Peace, y'all.
Later.